episode of Light Between Us. This is a podcast with no rules, no boundaries, and no expectations. It truly just is. These are unscripted conversations with those I have real relationships with. This is not an interview or informational podcast, but truly a podcast of witness to the living example of healing through relation, 2x2. This podcast is a space for us to meet fully in the present and to allow the miracles, the love, and light to just shine through us. A reminder that we do not wake up alone. We remember the truth together, 2x2, as the light reveals itself in the space between us. I am so excited today to bring to you a podcast that would be something that you wouldn't think would happen. This is a relationship that literally is a relationship through another relationship. I have Cece on the podcast today. We have a beautiful conversation. Cece and I have only met in person one time for a friend's event, and that friend is Julie, but I feel as though Cece has been my friend forever because through Julie and Julie's sharings of Cece, I feel like I know her on such a deeper level, but also it's one of those moments where you feel just a deep connection with someone right out the gate when you meet them, a resonance, a knowingness. And so Cece and I literally have only briefly met for a few hours at a friend's event. So the focus was very on that friend. We had some connections, some different discussion. But then other than that, it's just been through Julie that we've continued to hear about one another and to understand, what's going on in one another's lives. And when I had Julie on the podcast, she's like, hey, why don't you have Cece on? She also mentioned another friend as well that will be in an upcoming podcast. And at first my mind was like, but I don't really know Cece. I don't really know this other person. I was like, but I feel like I do. Is that weird to invite them on? And it felt so inspired to just follow the guidance that Julie brought, the permission that she brought, and to reach out. So I reached out and Cece was 100% on board. And so literally you are witnessing us only being on camera for about 1 minute, deciding if sound, everything is good, and then pressing record, and then just allowing us both to just drop into this space of what comes, and really, like I said, this safe space of miracles and light and love to flow through. And we have a beautiful conversation. We, of course, as usual, talk about what appears to be a multitude of things, but in the process, just being mirrors for one another and reflecting back and forth and going deeper within the mind for that light to continue to shine. One of the beautiful things we discuss is Cece recently published a book, and it's called The Mirrored Window. I have it on Kindle. I wonder, she will show you the book on there it will be in the show notes as well. But it is such a beautiful representation of this 2x2, of the mirror concept of we're all just mirrors for one another. We heal through one another. And that doesn't mean it has to be someone external like you're seeing in this moment of, Cece and I having a conversation. It could literally be me see my own reflection in the mirror, right? Like me having a conversation in these videos, which appears to be by myself, but in fact, through that is the mirror. And so Cece's book is just really, really, I don't want to ruin anything. I highly invite you to go check that out. And Cece also shares in the podcast about her writing and how that came through and what continues to come. And so this is just really a special podcast because it's the first one of really showing the connections that we have that we don't realize we have, and how deep some connections may already be, even though they haven't revealed themselves at the level of form. And it's really trusting those nudges to just feel fully safe in this space and to fully not question that feeling of closeness, not question that feeling of comfort, but just instead embracing it and letting what comes come. And so I'm very, very excited for you to tune in today. Um, I'm buzzing right now. I am just really buzzing from this conversation, and I feel like we could have continued forever. An hour and 20 minutes went by very quickly. So I do not believe this will be the last, and I'm just so excited to hear you and your feedback and what comes of listening to this. So yeah, I will let you go ahead and dive in. And again, all contact information will be listed below, including the book is available on Kindle and hard copy, possibly paperback as well. But I highly encourage you to go ahead and check it out. And yeah, so much love. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I can't wait to hear what you think of this amazing conversation that I have with Cece. Bye. Here we are. Yay. We are together again. It's so crazy because I was telling Julie, who's brought us together, that we met that one time for Julie. Julie had a celebration in Florida and you were visiting, but it was very there was a focus to it. So there wasn't a ton of like get to know one another or just not a ton of that. But I feel like you're like my best friend because Julie talks about you all the time.
I know we have our bridge. That's and the bridge's name is Julie Hamilton. So
yeah, that's our bridge.
Well, among other things too, because I think Scott is also part of your group now, and stuff. So I mean, and that relationship came through. From me through the Women, Life, and Science conference that Julie was advising on in the beginning when we were trying to launch it. And they met through there and it was awesome.
But that's like exactly why I started this podcast, is to show that like we heal through one another. We're connected through one another. Like it's not about the body per se. It's about like what is flowing. And I didn't even think about that. Cece, like Scott, she's in Lighthouse too, and Scott only met Julie because you invited Julie, right, to Women, Life, and Science to speak at that event.
At the conference, the first
that was the first
inaugural conference in 2024. It was 2 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've got like goosebumps. I love this.
I know.
It's so good. And we talk about, I mean, you get brought up a lot, in my conversations with Julie, but then also, with her and Scott, like Scott will mention like, oh yeah, I got to get off the call at this time because I have a call with Cece to plan for this. And, Julie will be like, oh, have you asked Cece for a recommendation? Like it's just always, you're in our awareness.
That's because I'm and Julie knows this. Scott not as much, but Julie knows this. It's like I talk to people. Like I always have some ideas. I always have like I don't know. So and maybe it's because I'm just aware about so many different things that I met somebody that might be able to help you. So here you go. Make that link.
You're a connector.
Yeah.
You're a connector.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and even my mind's going, I didn't get to finish your book yet. Things just got chaotic. But that like is even like a connector book. The way you wrote it, like it's like a web that your writing brings together all the connections and you start to be like, like it's
Well, I appreciate that. Again, this is like my first foray into this, right? And then it's been kind of a thing. And most writers will probably tell you this anyway. So when you have an idea and you just start to write, and I started to write something maybe like 5-6 years ago on there's something in the book where the person traveled to Japan and meets this, ancient individual and all that stuff. So that actually was written 5 years ago.
What did it happen to you? Like, that's the other thing. Julie, she told me, she's like, when I read the book, I know what's like kind of real and not. So then I imagine, I'm like, oh, I told Julie this when I'm reading, I'm like, did this really happen to Cece? Like, did she really go do this? Did she have this kind of interaction?
So there are some that's in there it did happen, but in a like for instance this Japan one, I did go to that monastery. Something did happen there. Um and I did meet an individual, but it wasn't an ancient person, a being.
Yeah.
And then there's some things in the whole book that I've personally experienced, but I changed a lot. The
Yeah.
imagination started like, no, you can't do it that way. Let's do it this way. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Well, and like for some context, because I forget too, someone might listen, you just wrote a book, and the title, I'm awful with remembering exact things, but what struck me is the mirror, right? Like seeing the mirror. Oh, we've got it right here. The mirrored window. And it's a beautiful cover, PS. Like, I feel like, no offense to smaller authors, but I feel like they all kind of have the same, you're a first-time author, AI made your cover book. Does that sound bad? But yours feels very artistic. And like, I know you have probably consumed more books than the average human being. You love historical fiction, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Like, this is all garnered from Julie because you plan trips around libraries and stuff, don't you?
Yeah. Libraries, bookstores. Yep.
And that's
botanical
what that mirror
gardens.
reminds.
Libraries, bookstores, botanical gardens. Yeah.
Have you found one that's all of it? Is there a botanical garden that's a library and a bookstore?
No. No.
You got to make one of those.
I know.
But that's what your cover reminded me of.
Part of it, I think, is is probably because the plants might have too much moisture and stuff like that, and the books might get moldy and stuff. So
icky. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's what the cover reminded me of. And like, we have Lighthouse and even Light Between Us. This podcast is really about us being mirrors for one another. So when I saw that was the title, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And of course, what I've read so far, which I think I'm like 50-60%, is very much that. It's like, but it's I don't want to spoil for anyone, but you'll figure this out right away. But it's a mirror of themselves. They come to find out, and it's just projected in so many beautiful ways. So
wait until you get to the end. The ending is it was kind of like by accident, actually, because at one point I said, well, this is a one-time thing, right? And it's been something that I wanted to do, and so I did it, and I was getting to a point where, like, how do I really end this story? I mean, I can go on and on and on, but then there really, I got to a point where it was like, there really isn't any place anywhere else it can go, except for this one thing. And then it was it. It was like everything, my brain just said, yeah, this is done. So,
and so it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it was already written.
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. And then the mirror, so again, it's just like anything. I have this one entryway mirror that's an antique mirror. And that's where the title came in, actually, is I love this mirror. First thing I walk into the house, I see this mirror. Julia knows exactly what mirror this is. And it's like, oh, well, it's kind of like a window also, because the way it's situated, it's actually situated where when I look at it from the library, my library at home, and I look at it, it's like you're looking at through a window of someone else's library. Yeah.
That makes so much. Yeah, like now I'm like having these, like, because even the cover, like, that's what I visualized a mirror in a library, but also like a botanical. When you said that, I was like, oh yeah, that's the feeling of the cover, even though you don't see the botanical garden. But then now that you say the entryway, yeah, I can see how all fits together.
Yeah.
Isn't it's? I mean, it's just another beautiful connection and reminder that like nothing is new, quote unquote, but it's always just like a repurposed perception of it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because
It
even you said
does.
in writing it.
Yeah. And but I think, just going back to the topic of mirroring each other, right? We meet people and something about them that we're just connected to, right? Just totally connected to, i.e. you and I, right? And
Yeah.
so and there's definitely something there that is about you when you meet that person. And so you're like, oh yeah, I'm like grabbed onto that.
Yeah.
But then there's also where we meet individuals where we're just like, oh, there's that. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. There's that sort of like somebody's like playing an electric guitar and just just
I love that. Yeah.
right? And you're
And your
like,
ears are like,
and it's like, what the heck? And for the most part, we don't want to have anything to do with that, right? And it just totally irritates you, and just your whole being is just don't want it. Then we step back, and then we sort of like, all right, well, but then first of all, it takes a certain wisdom to understand that you do have to step back a little bit and see why is that, why am I reacting to that person in that way, right? And so you step back and you sort of like a little reflection. You're going, yeah, that's something that I do, and perhaps I need to understand a little bit more about that. You don't necessarily have to like make that person your best friend just to understand.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But it's like a little reflection on your end, and you're going, all right, what is that about? Clearly, I'm not over that yet, or whatever.
Well, and it's like, I love that because you may never see that person again. And I think so often, even when we get to the state that you're talking about, the wisdom of knowing this is a reflection of me, we still somehow think that it has to be healed or released through that person that triggered it. But it doesn't. I mean, it could be like a fleeting moment of a guy chomping his food I don't know why that came out, chomping his food next to you at the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And it like sprays all over you, whatever.
And it's loud
yeah. And you just like can't even be in present moment with your friend, and you blame it on him. But then later, like you said, you take that step back and you've done a lot of internal work and you're like, oh, what's this about me? But then I think so often then people are like, but I'll never see that guy again, so what does it matter? But it's like, no. Like, it was never about the guy. You get that it was about yourself, and the healing and the releasing, it's no longer about the guy. You now have brought it back home where it belongs.
Yeah.
And then you can release it from there.
Yeah. But don't you think also that there's a point, and maybe this is part of wisdom, but there's a point where you're like, you know what? I don't, that's just going to have to like sit on the shelf because it's not that important anymore,
Yeah.
Unless it comes back, and then, there's a repetitive sort of theme.
Angst.
Yeah, angst. Exactly. But sometimes it's like, the universe just sort of like, let me test you just a little bit just to make sure that you are over this thing, or that you don't care anymore, because we got to move on, right? Because we're the ones, it's like baggage that we want to just keep dragging with us, when in reality, throw it away.
Well, right. But I think what I hear you saying, and I think it's misconstrued by some people that haven't experienced it, is not that it irritates you and you shove it, like you're like, I need to get over this, right? But instead it's like you get to have like the observer's role, right? Where you get to have that experience again, but for some reason it's not activating you inside.
Right.
And but like you said, the fear and the want for baggage, we're like, but wait, we should be like, the guy's chomping his food, like we should, like, no. And we try to bring it back instead of being like, oh, look, that's a story we've really, like, that doesn't hold weight. And then eventually I think it gets to the point where like you just don't even notice the guy anymore. But you do have to go through those moments like you're talking about. But don't you think a lot of people get confused and think that that's like the push it, like, get over it mentality, you know? Like if it is actually bothering you, you're like, oh, you've looked at this a million times, you need to just get over it and move on.
Snap out of it kind of mentality. And in
pull
reality, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's like you're you know, there's an acknowledgement that this was a thing, but it doesn't trigger anything anymore. And if it does trigger something, but it's sort of fleeting, then you're really technically, that was it, right? Whereas you're right. There are certain things where we're just like, this is muscle memory. This is something we're familiar with. Oh, I kind of want to get that again. And we know for a fact that it's not good for us. But you know, it's kind of like becomes, again, automatic. So we're changing the behavior. We're changing the habit of how we react to certain things. I do this thing every morning where my practice in the morning is I wake up in the morning, obviously have my coffee, and then I go into, obviously, because gotta have coffee. It's like you know, it's my vitamin. Got to do the coffee. Get my coffee. Come into this is the room that I go into, and I sit in that chair, and I have my my journal. It's called the Monk Manual. I do my it's called Monk Manual, and it, you know, there's a practice there. But what I usually like to do is, you know, it'll the night before it'll ask you a question of, you know, what made you feel not your best, or I didn't feel the best when, kind of thing, or something. And usually lately I have not been writing anything on that particular section. So I'm like, what is happening? So, okay, whatever. But sometimes it's like, okay, I have a little bit of fear on a particular situation, or, why am I letting, like, I'll ask the question and I'll write it down. Why am I letting this feeling, anxiety, fear in the room? So then I have to, like, dig a little deeper. And sometimes, and for the most part, it's muscle memory. It's like something that you used to do so much of before, you know, remunerate and worry and all that stuff. When it's like, well, why are you doing that again? It's like, acknowledge it's there, yes, but then let it go, sort of. You know? Yeah.
It's like to not attach to it. I mean, that's a huge monkhood thing. I don't know if monkhood's the right word, but like monkism. I don't know what the word is.
Monkism,
but like, the monk way of life is to relinquish all attachments, and the ultimate belief they have is to relinquish any attachment to the thought, right? That's the practice of meditation. P.S. Side note, didn't the monks come through your area recently? The monks that are walking. Did you go see them?
Yeah, no, I couldn't see them. I mean, it was just hard to get to. They came through.
I bet there's tons of people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. And they went through one corner of South Carolina. They cut across this way. They missed our side. But so I didn't get a chance to go. Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a side note, because I was like, oh my God, I think they were just in your area.
They were. It was beautiful.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. But so, like, the relinquishment of attachment to things, all things, items, thoughts, whatever. And so that's really is the challenge, like you said. It's because we're so, and like, look at society. Like, we are so trained that if something bad isn't happening directly to you, I promise there's someone in your peripheral that you can latch onto and be like, I shouldn't be happy because so-and-so is suffering, or, you know, all of those. So there's always opportunity to make a justification for what you're writing down in your thing of like the fear or the anxiety, but it takes great discipline of the mind to still question it, to be like, but is that true?
Yeah.
Do I really need to experience that? Or can I show up from a place of love and true empathy? I think that's gotten confused what true empathy actually is.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something at the level of form like our actions, but it's just this internal, like, showing up with love no matter what state anyone is in. That's what oops, I dropped you. Can you hear me? That's what I see it as. You know, so yeah, what are your thoughts on that while I re-clip back in here?
Oh.
Okay.
No, you're right. I mean, it's you know, it's really about being in the present moment. I think at the end of it all, it's really just kind of getting yourself back into where am I right now, you know, and Julie and I have had this conversation before where it's like what you were yesterday, the day before, you know, today you're a different person, right?
Yeah.
You're a different person today in comparison to yesterday. And you know, goes on and on. And tomorrow, why are you worried? Why are you thinking about tomorrow? Other than, of course, you know, we're like, we got our to-do list and our checklist and things like that, and we got to work, and we just, you know, we have all these appointments, and we got to do, you know, all the things. But you know, you get to that present moment, and that's where you sort of put the energy, not necessarily on tomorrow or from yesterday. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. And I think like the truth of what we are is always the same, which is love, but it's all those like roles you're talking about that are on the outside that are constantly changing. And that's what's keeping us distracted from the present moment, right? It was where truth is. You know what, Cece? So, gosh, it's been maybe 3 years now. When I was really going deeper in the mind, and I think, you know, A Course in Miracles is the book that I've used to really go deeper in my awareness and, I don't even know, unwinding of the mind, unwinding from fear. And so it talked a lot about an unhealed mind, or a healed mind does not plan. And I was the person that if it wasn't on my to-do list, but I did it, I had to go write it on my to-do list so I could cross it off. Like I lived by my to-do list, but I also was the person on the flip side that like would judge myself and how my day went based on the check marks. And the majority of the time there was always shame, because even if I started out with 10 things in the morning and I got them all done, by night I had 30 on there and 20 of them weren't done. You know, so it was really this space of like this repetitive carrot chasing for me, and shame. Like it never was complete. And anytime it did quote unquote get complete, it really wasn't, I just hadn't wrote that thing down yet. You know, like it was just this mind game. So it was like the beginning of the year and I was like, I'm going deeper into trusting that everything that's meant to happen is going to happen, no matter how much I try to make it not happen. And then the complete opposite, right? Whatever's not going to happen is not going to happen, period. Like no ifs, ands, or buts. So I threw out my to-do list. And like literally, I lived a good, I think the first time I made a list again was maybe 6 or 7 months ago. It felt like an inspired moment and I never actually looked back at it. It just in the moment flowed out of me. And I think maybe it was one of those moments kind of like journaling does, where it's not necessarily about going back and rereading it. It's about like, you've got all this chatter, you got to get it out somewhere.
Yeah.
But it was it was very hard at first. It was very deep trust because I would think of things like, oh my gosh, my tabs are due in a month, right? Like something important that I could get in trouble and could cost me a lot of money. And in the past, like I would make a to-do list or a note or an alarm, make sure to go do those things. And I didn't. And sure enough, like what needed to happen happened. And anything that didn't, I can't even tell you what it was today. Anything that I missed, right? Now, maybe back then it was like, felt like earth-shattering things, but it obviously wasn't because here I am, you know.
You are, you're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is like this, such a freeing feeling, that it's really rooted me deeper in my trust, of like, just really like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And sometimes I'll feel like overwhelmed, like right now with this podcast, and then randomly I opened an Etsy shop, and like it just yeah. So I love to thrift. I love thrifting. And there's amazing,
I do too.
Yeah, there's amazing thrifting here, but if you don't have a house to put it in, it's like, what do you do? So then we opened an Etsy shop. But so I have all these like moving balls of like editing videos, making cover art, posting, you know, different things on my Etsy, fulfilling orders. And sometimes I feel it all up here and I just have to be like, okay, trust one foot in front of the other. And so far, like life hasn't fallen apart. And and for me, it keeps me more, I think, in the present moment.
Yeah. I do the same. It's like I'll have I used to do the to-do list checklist, write it down because you already did it and then check it off.
Yeah. Like you need credit for that. That's crap if you don't get credit.
It's like, oh, pat yourself on the back. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Look at all these extra things I did.
Yes, exactly. I used to do that too. I don't do it anymore. I will. I love journals. I love notebooks and stuff like that. I will, if it's like work related, just so that I don't forget something that I know will be critical later. I will write it down somewhere, but it's not a to-do list. It's like, I'll write it in this particular piece of paper or this notebook here, but you know, throughout the day, the pages flip. And I'm
right,
writing
like it was like 30 pages ago.
Oh, exactly. But you know what? Yeah. Whatever needs to happen on that particular thing, it happens anyway. And so you deal with it when it gets to you. So it's like, oh, well, okay, fine. I just like the practice of just getting it out of your brain to free up more stuff in there, right? So getting it out, freeing more, getting it out, freeing more. And then it's like, it's not even a checklist. It's not even a to-do list anymore. It's always like, oh, yeah, that's right. I had to do that. I don't even know when I had to do that, but did it. So done. Right. Yeah.
Well, and it's like the same. I mean, expression is the same all different ways. Like we say it is. So if we say it is, then it truly needs to be. That means even if like, you told me right now, like, oh, I got to water the plants tomorrow, or you wrote it down, or you just thought of it. Isn't it essentially all the same? It was like an expression of some sort, right? Either in like, quote unquote, in your private head or to Ashley or to the piece of paper. I think it's, you know, kind of goes like what we were talking earlier with the guy chomping his food is like, what's it being used for?
Yeah.
Is it being used to, like you said, free up space to like allow yourself to keep the flow of joy in present moment? Or is it being used as an attack later that, oh, you even wrote that down, you didn't do it, or, you know, whatever may be. And I think that gets us so caught up too, is because I remember, at least for me, when I got big into personal development after my divorce, and it was, I remember trying to Google fix myself even before that, like Google, how do you survive after a divorce? And literally I was doing everything it said I shouldn't do. It was like, don't go to the bar, don't have partner. I was like, I'm doing all of this. Yeah. Like, then what? So then it just created more shame and guilt. And so like, that's why I first started my business, is I never wanted another woman to feel like the shame and guilt I did. I don't want to say like you should go to the bar or anything, but also it's like everything is a tool.
Yeah.
And some tools work for you that don't work for me. And some tools work for me that don't work for you. And looking back now, those were some major tools. Did they look like pretty tools to the outside world? No, they looked like unacceptable tools that should not be touched.
Yeah, right.
But they were some of my greatest tools. I mean, like if I was an archaeologist, that would have been like someone brought in the backhoe and we got to the dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
Like through that.
Yeah.
And now we're fine tuning. So I just always caution myself because like every personal development book out there has the way, right? Do my 5-step program. That's the way. And then when it doesn't work for you, it just packs on to the shame and guilt of like, but this worked for 5 million other people, especially when it comes to like manifesting money.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big thing. And manifesting whatever it may be. And then you just feel so shameful. So I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent other than I love that we're highlighting that it's never about like the actual thing. It's about what's the intention behind it. Just like if the guy's chomping his food, like our mind's so used to wanting to see that as an irritation or anxious or fear that the moment it doesn't is the moment like we're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Whoa, what's going on here? Like this, we should be irritated. This guy should drive us insane. But instead,
well, I think there's also a little bit of a confusion or and part of it is also just, self-discovery and what have you. But I think when people are first rediscovering themselves, I guess there's a certain stage where we kind of rediscovering ourselves. That word intention people have an unclear definition of what that is. And it seems to, at least from what I'm finding out, or at least hearing from other people, is it becomes a solid thing. Like I intend to, and instead of a free-flowing statement of some sort, right? Yeah. There's a misunderstanding, maybe. I can't quite find the right word, but it's almost that. And so what I always tell people when, I'm writing my intentions and stuff like that, I said, okay, write it down. Read it again? Does it come from kindness and love? Is it coming from like, I'm like, this is my intention, kind of hard.
Like fear.
Yeah. And if that's the case, then step back and start again.
Yeah. I think like maybe, like you said, it's like there's different levels of understanding or remembrance. And like in A Course in Miracles, the way it's written at the beginning and he even says, he goes, I first need to talk to you as the babies you are. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like when we first talk to a baby, we don't say like massive words or, it might have a different understanding to them that later in life it grows larger or deeper or whatever. So I definitely feel that. First, it feels very like an external thing, like intention. Like what are you seeking outside of yourself? Is your intention to become happy and wealthy and that, and then you have to do the tangible external steps to get there, right? Like I feel like that's what we first start out with until that burns us, like, oh, that didn't work. And then like what you're saying is like it doesn't, you get to the point that like what you write down of like what your actual external intention is, at the end of the day, those words don't matter if it's just, as long as it's coming from a place of, like you said, kindness and love. It's, if it doesn't happen, your intention that you wrote down, you're not disappointed. And if it does happen, you're not like, oh my gosh, I made this happen. It's just more like you said, this free flowing. It's
a free flowing, non-attachment.
Yeah. Just joy flowing out. So like, I guess my intention is just like, for that. That's my intention.
Yeah, that's your
to
intention.
just let the flow. Yeah, to let the flow be.
Yeah.
to just always be in a state of joy. So,
Yeah.
but I agree. I feel like, go ahead.
No. I was just, I think it's just, and a lot of it has to do with just constant, conversation, constant discussion, like what we're doing now. This is beautiful. I love the title of this podcast, because it is a light between us, and it's not just light. It can be, an individual can be the light, between all of us.
Yes.
And so it's I think there's beauty in deeper conversations and discussion, and allowing for people to actually express what needs to come out of them. I mean, that's kind of an interesting thing. Last weekend, was it last weekend? Yes, last weekend. Last weekend, I had a couple of women at my house, and we did an exercise for vision boarding, right? So developing a vision board. And of course, just like anything, if you've not done it before, you haven't done it in a while, you kind of have to rewind back and start from the beginning of, you ask them questions and you answer questions and all that stuff. So there's a definite process. It's not like a one time, here's 2 hours or 3 hours and you're done. You've got your vision board. Boom. And I had no expectation whatsoever with the group or the outcome of for the girlfriends that was over. But what happened is, and this is the beauty of these kinds of free flowing things, is that there's a confirmation for someone, there was a validation for someone, for one of the girls. And then the other one is a beginning of understanding about what she truly wanted for herself, outside of family, husband, and whatever.
The roles,
exactly. And then we all decided we got to do this every month.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
It's one of those where it's like, and it's not even really. So we did something on a little board, and I said, you know what? This is good. When we come back next month, let's take a look at it, and we should ask ourselves, what has changed? What do we want to change now? Because it's a flowing thing. It's not just because you have a vision board doesn't mean that you can't change or swap out the pictures or whatever, right? And so, but they were at this mindset of, what I put down on paper or what I put down on the board or what picture it is in there is it. And if it doesn't happen,
shame.
Uh-oh. Yeah. And I said, oh, no, we're not going to go there. We're going to be constantly changing.
I love that.
The board, the picture.
Allowing for the flow.
Yeah.
Because, I love that. Because, again, another tool that fear and the ego can use so harmfully to us, because a lot of people do make the vision board at the beginning of the year, and it's a lot of the ones I've seen in the past are very tangible, like a new house. I want 30,000 followers on Instagram. I've even seen people put their ideal man, built him, found a body they liked, found a head they like, so, which is cool and creative and has its space and place. But when there is weight on the belief that if you create a vision, it will come true if you truly are worthy of it, because that's essentially that's the vibe we get.
Yes, the worthy thing. Yeah, it's like you're not worth.
Yeah,
I don't deserve it.
Often,
like if it didn't happen because I don't deserve it. It's like no.
I didn't do something right. Yeah, I must have. It's almost like the old church. What church instilled in people is like, you're gonna go to hell. Like, if you don't do X, it's the same kind of fear-based thing, which is all about your worth. Yeah. And so I love that. I love it because it's really reiterating and in taking steps towards never having that external vision that's ever permanent other than just what comes in your mind. Like, because literally you could, you know, as you progress in this, which I know would never happen, but I feel like this is what you're doing in the morning with your monk reflection in your evening, right? Is like you're revisiting the vision and you're allowing anything to be thrown out and allowing anything to come in. So I love the intentionality of like, yeah, we're not making this a 1-year thing anymore. I'll see you in, you know, a month. Because technically you could meet with them every night and every morning and every second.
It'll just, I mean, things could stay the same or it just change.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you know, again, it's the free flow of, but it also allows us to sort of understand us, right? Why did I put that picture down there? There was a reason. Why was that so important? Yeah.
Yeah, what stories come up through that, right? Because it's hard. Like, let's say you put something on your vision board. I can't think of something specific right now. And then in a month you come back and you realize like that's like you have this like love-hate relationship with what you put on the board. And you want to take it off, but you feel like you should have it on. Like that's a beautiful opportunity for conversation of like, what are the stories that aren't allowing you to just be like, yep, nope, not today. Throw that Post-it off there like that, you know, because isn't that where we're like seeking is to be like, just to flow for whatever you think is grander than you out there to flow through you, you know, whether it's the universe or God or Jesus or Buddha or Oh, I love that. If I lived closer, I wanted to join.
Yeah, I know. Every month, right? You were just like, okay, why is that? And it's like it's a process where it's like, okay, well, it was organic. It was just one of those things where it just sort of like happens. Like, yeah, you know, maybe we should do it this way. So, which is great. Hey, I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like, you're in. How long are you in Spokane?
Oh, so now we're here long time.
Oh,
a long time. So we were originally only supposed to be here for 6 months, which is still the longest time we've settled down since we started traveling. But then the farm that we watched, it is just love, Cece. And we had to go through, I think, our other travels to find ourselves there, to remember the love that we're worthy of, right? Like, because it's so overpowering, but we loved it so much. And I said to Patrick, I was like, oh my gosh, what if they just need permanent house sitters? Wouldn't that be amazing? I'm going to propose it to them. And he's like, you can't do that. Well, they beat me to the punch. And like 2 weeks later, they asked us starting in May to be their permanent house sitters for a year. And so we're here until at least, for quite a while longer.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Are you coming out to Seattle? Do I need to come visit you?
all the different discoveries that's going to happen through that time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
The house is old. It's probably what? 18?
Well, that's this one. So this is the second house sit. This isn't the farm.
Okay, this is not the farm. Okay, so you're going back to the farm.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll go back to the farm. And there's alpacas.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. They make great sweaters. Babies. Their fur makes great sweaters.
Oh yeah, so that's another thing. Like she has them sheared and stuff. But even if you provide the alpacas, whatever, it costs a ton. Like she has some rugs hanging on the wall that aren't very big, and they came from her alpacas, and they were thousands of dollars to put together.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. Yeah, and she supplied the alpaca fur.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it gives me a whole new appreciation for when I see 100% alpaca wool or whatever they call it, and the sweater costs a small fortune. Now I get it. I'm like, oh, yeah. Even if you have the alpacas.
I have a sweater that I bought in Peru. And it's an alpaca sweater, and it is the warmest of the warmest sweater you could possibly think of. To the point that sometimes, even in cold weather, I'm sweating, you know.
Yeah,
but
that's great, though.
But it's great. It's great. And I don't even know how much it costs at this point because I bought it at one, and this is
In
like,
Peru.
oh yeah, in 2006. So it's,
Oh, that's probably worth a fortune now
yeah.
on the vintage market.
Yeah.
Like me over here with my
You're
thrifting. Like that's
thrifting, yeah.
probably
It's like
we could pay rent for a few months.
2006, and it was at like an open market, like a
I
local.
wonder if you haggled. Do you remember? Did you haggle with them?
I did, and I can't remember. It was cheap. It wasn't even $40. I mean, it was less. It was less than that. Less than that. Yeah.
And it's still amazing, right? Like the quality, like 2006. If I bought a sweater at any, I'm not going to name a random place, but you know who you are. Any of these places at the mall, that thing like might have a hole tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like that's
how bad.
Yes. Gone down.
Yes. Yeah. So this was
Wow.
obviously handmade, right? Because the woman did it. But so I just love that sweater. I love that sweater. Anyway, it just reminded me of that. But this house though, tell me about this house, because there's an energy in. Sorry, I'm looking at this house. There's an energy to this house. When I saw the banister, I was like, okay, what's the story of this house?
So I don't know, like the deep store. We can look further. There's definitely historic because it's registered with the historical society. So it's the Mueller House here in Spokane. They've registered it with the historical society. And they had to like provide newspaper clippings and stuff of the family that lived in it for it to be historical.
Yeah.
I will say, so we came to the Christmas party because we're house sitting.
Yeah.
And so we were already in town for the farmhouse sit. And so they're like, come to our Christmas party so you can meet the neighbors and stuff. And when we came, one of the neighbors, he was totally joking, was like, the house is haunted. And I'm like, what? It's so like, and it's old. It's, so at like when everything is off, there's 1.5 million noises, but it's like completely silent, and then you hear the radiator because it's radiator heat. You're like, what's that?
And it creaks, the floor creaks and whatever. Yeah, the house settles and
Well, but so far it has not felt haunted.
It's not, but I love houses like that because it has the beauty of it is amazing. If the walls could talk, basically, right?
Yes.
But everything, I mean, we know material, wood, whatever, has an energy, and it feels good. Actually, even like coming through the screen, it feels good. So it's not like bad. It's good.
Yeah, no, we love it. We've felt good here too.
Yeah.
So it's so cool though. I don't think I've ever experienced a place like this, like, because like you said, the detail, the woodwork, it's just because we're vintage shopping. But it's funny because this house is literally like the epitome of what we're vintage shopping for inside of it, because they've also kept the integrity of it, so it's just very, very beautiful.
It matches your personality.
Yeah, the light, it's that's the other thing, Cece. Like the majority of the walls, like in the main rooms, are yellow.
Yeah, yellow really and dark brown. Yeah,
which is really amazing.
Kind of the thing that was the color of back then.
It's that's coming back again.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh, what's next for you? What are you up to? So you were there for a little bit. You're doing Lighthouse. You're doing the podcast. And Etsy. I mean, it's like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, so we've been talking a lot in Lighthouse about money, and Julie just introduced an amazing book that we're all reading now, The Soul of Money. It's so good, though. If you haven't read it, Cece, like, highly recommend it. I don't remember the author. I'm trying to read it. It's like across the room. I can't, but I'll share that with you. But anyway, so I think really in like my going deeper journey, this space of, I think I've untied a lot of money stories. I think that's a lot of our stuff hides behind money and the need for it and this or that. And really I'm in this season of seeing like how everything is just always flowing and it doesn't matter where it's coming from. So like having all of these ventures going on, many would think like, oh, you're, attempting to obtain money. Oh, do you want to grow a podcast following and make it big? Oh, do you want your Etsy store to be big? And it's like, these were just all random inspirations. And like tomorrow they could all shut down. Like that's really where we're at, is just like following the guidance. And it felt exciting to do this. And it, like you said, at the end of your book, when all of a sudden you thought of like, oh, this is how it's going to end. It just was like, it already happened. It just like, just poured out of you. Like you didn't even have to make any effort. And that's really how these things have been. Like the Light Between Us podcast. The only time I've felt resistance is when I try to make it a perfect certain way, right? Like I was talking the lighting and, the sound or this or that. That's when I feel resistance. Otherwise, like the moment I started it and Julie's like, hey, what about Cece and Joy? And like, I had 8 people lined up within the first couple minutes of like deciding I'm going to have a podcast.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And like the Etsy. Yeah. Yeah. And like the Etsy thing, it was just like, oh, okay. And now we have had 3 sales, and the people that were being brought in contact with, I was talking to a friend the other day, and it's called 33 Joy Street. And really, even though it's tangible items, it's a way for us to like send joy, a way for us. My hope is that like when someone buys something from 33 Joy Street and they walk in their house after a bad day, they see that tiny silver dish and they like have a little spark. Like they're the little sparks of remembrance, the pattern interrupters. Someone yesterday ordered candlesticks, and I was like, I hope these illuminate your space and remind you of the light within you. Like that's what I'm trying to really incorporate that through it.
It's the same way, you have next time you're out this way, or if Julie's out this way, come visit. So our house is an eclectic collection of things. Things that every single piece has a memory of joy. Art pieces, photography. There's a story with every single one.
Each thing.
I mean, I'm like doing a memory walk around the house, and every single one has a story. And so it's kind of interesting that way. That is absolutely beautiful of what you're doing there on Etsy. I'm going to check it out because add to the collection of stories that's around the house.
And we're just always like this, like how we started of like we connect through things, and I truly feel that there's some reason that we have been guided to free flow an Etsy store, because everything in me would be like anyone listening, we live out of our suitcases, and now we have some Rubbermaid totes of like things. And so everything, like according to the worldly rules would have said, this makes no sense. Like, do not open an Etsy store. Like, how are you going to sustain that? Right, exactly. But in the moment it did, and it happened. And so it's just those things. And I don't think we'd be having a conversation today if I wouldn't have done Light Between Us, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And how that unfolded. So I think it's the beauty of those things that we're really tapping into and that our travels taught us. I mean, there was so much surrender and trust that had to happen in our travels. I mean, there were so many times that I was just like in complete breakdown and would say to Patrick, why did we ever leave Tampa? And he'd be like, you were bored. And I was like, I was not bored.
What? You're bored? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think, Spirit does use
that. And that becomes what's the word? Sort of like your message and conviction to yourself. I mean, it was a thing that says, you're supposed to empower, bring joy, influence, it is a good word to use. People don't like the word influence, but I think influence and help other people through the things that you're doing, like Lighthouse and all that, right? And this podcast and Etsy. There's a reason for that, and it's not the journey is not done yet. Obviously, it is just the beginning. It's just beginning. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know when we were just going back to the vision boarding kind of thing last weekend, and you do the like this is me, and then there's like career, and there's the spiritual, and the material, and all travel, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I was doing all the stuff, and mine was a little different, obviously, because I've been doing this for a long time. But when it got to there's a certain section of professional / career kind of thing, and career was like it didn't sound right to me, even the word professional didn't sound right to me, so I like X'd it off, X off. And then I go, and I was like stuck. There's nothing there right now. It did. I mean, other than being a writer, I wrote down author. There's nothing there. I couldn't put anything down. I couldn't put a picture down. I couldn't write other than this word, and I was stuck. And then finally, my girlfriend Erica says, just leave it. Leave it empty. Leave it with just one word. Because, you don't know. And so it was like, okay, I forgot that that's a message for me, that something else is coming. And it's preparing me for the next thing that's coming.
Can I reflect something back to you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
What if you are you just told me you wrote something down? Why do you think there's still something more coming? What if that's it?
Right?
Like your mind.
Well,
see?
No, I get what you're saying. And I totally agree. I wrote something down, and what if that is it? Except there's still something that hasn't bubbled. I could feel it. Like there's something that hasn't bubbled up. And it maybe is tied to what I've written down, but I don't know.
You don't understand how it is.
I don't understand it yet. I don't, yeah, exactly. I don't understand it. My being doesn't quite understand it yet. And that's when I said, yeah, I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah. So. Well, because even at the beginning, Cece, the reason why I think I highlighted that, when you were talking about writing your book, you were like, oh, I wasn't, this was just a one thing, just try it, just do it. So I felt that there might still be stories from a place of fear around that, that title.
Oh gosh, you're right. That hit it. That hit it.
Yeah.
That hit it. Yeah. It is. And you know what it is? I think it's I'm not even advertising this thing, right? Because I really don't feel like I need to, because it's going to get to the people that it needs to get to. I think the fear there is the vulnerability part. And as I'm kind of reflecting a little bit, vulnerability in the discovery of others, that's like, what is she into now? I think you're right. I need to kind of reflect on that a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, because it's I was just telling you, to anybody, it doesn't make sense, our Etsy shop and, the podcast, the purpose some people would have for that. I don't have that purpose. And so from what I know of you and what I've heard, through Julie and just our interaction even briefly now, is that you, even though maybe not consciously, have followed a very similar, you're kind of like down for whatever. Like I remember Scott sharing that she brought up wanting to do retreats, and you were like, yeah, I got some people. Let's all get together. Let's talk, like,
yeah.
So, you're the down for
like,
whatever.
Yeah, come on, let's go do it.
But when it's something that is like fully you, right? Being an author is all on you. Then sometimes it's like, oh, are we down for whatever? We can be down for whatever, but we don't have to tell anyone we're down for whatever, because then they might be like, oh, now you're doing that, instead of being like, oh, I'm doing a retreat now because this person needed my help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Yeah.
Something to bring to your next when's your next get together? If you just did it.
The 21st of February.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what is able to come through. Because to me, anytime you feel like something's coming, okay, hear me out on this analogy.
Okay.
So I shared this with Evelina. So we so often I was talking about like in reference to prayer or, even visioning, right? Yeah. We write it down and we wait for a sign. We wait for this or that because we think something is on hold, right? Yeah. Like it's not ready for us yet. So when I use like the example of prayer, it's like, oh God, I've been praying over and over again for an answer for this, but you're not giving me an answer. And it's like we think that God or the divine or whatever that is in charge of these messages just holds on to them sometimes. It's like, you're not ready yet. But what if in fact it's not that? What if in fact it's always flowing like we just talked about? But it's us that puts a dam in the way of the flow. Yeah. So it's not about,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, because I would say like, it's not like God's like, oh, let me turn the water back on. It's like the second you let that barrier get out of the way, it's like, whoa, like coming in hot.
You are absolutely right, because isn't it true? Why would there be a limitation on the creation of something, right? And the only limitation is really the limitation that you put on whatever it is that you're trying to do. Well, we can't do that. We can't open a restaurant because it's too much work. We can't, kind of stuff like that, right? And we're always putting conditions into creating, right, or manifesting something, which kind of comes down to what you said about manifestation, right? Because there's so many books and things out there about manifesting something. It's always tied to a thing, right? Or money and an outcome and stuff like that, when actually, and the worthiness is tied to that. And then all of a sudden it's like it doesn't happen, and so we're not worthy, and we don't deserve it, and the universe, God, whoever says you don't deserve it because you're not ready, when in reality, we are the ones that are putting that limitation into creating something.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like many of times the only limitation is the vision we have. So like author, you have a vision that's tied to that, Cece. And the reason why I know that is that it's a vision, a story, is because yours probably looks way different than if today I'm like, I'm going to be an author. Like they just are, what we think that is totally different. And so that immediately becomes a block to the flow because we have no clue what that actually is going to unwind as. Like I was talking to someone the other day who has been writing this book forever, and they get upset with themselves. Like, why isn't it ready yet? Why do I keep rewriting it? When am I going to make money from this, and X, Y, or Z? And the block is that they have an expected outcome instead of bringing us back to the present, right? The present moment is like, spirit uses everything for the good. And like, that means even if it's just your own healing, like what if you spent like 900 hours writing a book and it was always just for yourself? That's just the same as everyone else. And I think of, I always use this analogy. Is it Elizabeth Gilbert, Eat, Pray, Love author?
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
And have you read her book, Big Magic?
Mm-hmm.
So the one chapter I really love in there the most is the one where she talks about Eat, Pray, Love, and how prior to that, she wrote tons of books. And every time she wrote a book, her purpose was, this is going to be a bestseller. And then it wasn't. And this would be a bestseller, and then it wasn't. And then Eat, Pray, Love was her own. She didn't even want to write the book. It was, she wanted to go heal, but she needed money. Yeah. So she had to propose it to the publisher or whatever to get the advance. And so she did healing and put it out, and we all know how that story ends.
Yeah.
And not that it always looks that way, but we can tangibly see how her healing healed Eat, Pray, Love. Oh my God, after my divorce, you know how many times I watched that movie on repeat? Just praying that my life would start to look like that I was going to go eat my way through this country, fall madly in love with, it was like a dream come true.
Yeah.
But she surrendered to what she felt in the moment. What she felt in the moment is, I need to go to this place. And then she allowed herself to be guided to something that didn't make sense, which was, all right, we've got one way to get money. Let's propose to write a book, even though, it's going to be trash. We're just going to take some notes here and there. See, and so then, like, things are used, but they can't be used if she would have already had an idea of like this,
outcome.
like, and the outcome being, this is just my journey. I need to figure it out on my own. I can't share this with, whatever the stories would have been.
Yeah.
And
fascinating conversation. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Okay. Meditate on that a little bit more. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have to touch base.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there is something else that's brewing. So, I mean, I started a second book. Yeah. But it is currently on the shelf right now. Because it has again, timing. I'm just allowing it when it's time for me to kind of get back in it. I started it, and I told Julie, I said, Julie, you're my muse for this book too. And she goes, yeah. And I said, oh yeah. You gonna tell me what it's about? Nope.
Ooh, I'm excited to read that.
Does it have any? No, it has nothing to do with her. At least not yet. Anyway, it doesn't feel like it. But she gave me an idea as we were like talking one Sunday on one of our weekend calls, and I got off that phone call and I'm going, well, shit.
I guess my idea to just write one book is out the window.
Out the window. I like pulled out Word document and I'm going, okay, I think this is what it's going to be about. I love it. It's so funny.
But that's like the beautiful thing. And, there's so many cliche quotes out there. But it's so true. We have no clue what really makes us happy. And when we experience that true happiness, it's always like, this makes no sense. Like, I didn't think I would, we were on a remote island off of Thailand, and when we showed up, we felt like we were in prison and we were miserable. And by the time we left, we were bawling and didn't want to leave. And because we opened ourselves up to the joy that was coming through.
And the experience that was coming through. And it's, Ashley no longer is bored.
That's for sure. I really don't remember being bored, Cece, but I mean, Patrick doesn't usually make stuff up. I'm sure I was to some extent.
Yeah, you probably were, but it wasn't the kind of boredom that we know boredom is. I think there was like a spiritual pang.
Yes,
that
You're
was
right.
Pulling. Yeah.
I couldn't it was like, when you get that onion that has that layer that you really have to cut through to like rip it off. It was like that. I think I kind of hit a layer that I needed a little shaken up to be open. I was comfortable. Let's say that. I was very comfortable, and I don't think I would have continued to spiritually grow the way I did, which, no shame either way, but let's just say it was a celestial speed up.
Yeah. Well, I'm
That's
proud of
for
you. I'm
sure.
proud of, I mean, I commend you for listening to
Mm.
yourself, to your spirit, right? I mean, and for you guys to actually do this together, for you and Patrick to do this
Mhm.
together, that's fearless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like that's the beauty of when we listen to spirit, cuz like think of your book. I mean,
Mm,
you even share with me like we know this, like people don't just write books that don't have some sort of connection to them. You just can't, like it's
mm-hmm,
going to have your essence, your activities in life maybe looking completely different but still the same exact essence. And
mm-hmm.
how vulnerable to like, and it's a very like self-discovery type book, so it's not like you're just writing about, I mean, and not just, I don't want to say just, but you're not writing about vampires eating each other. You're
Mm-hmm.
writing about like deep philosophical,
Reflection. Yeah.
reflection. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
That's the
a,
mirror. Yeah.
yeah, very vulnerable place as well. And that again was you trusting that what was flowing out of you. And
Yeah.
so I'm so grateful, and I can't wait like to continue to see what I gotta finish the book. I'm gonna finish the book. It's a
Me
quick
too.
read too. Anyone
It is.
listening in, the only reason why I haven't finished it is because randomly I had all these episodes and then an Etsy store, just all these moving parts. But um yeah,
Yeah.
it's a couple
Yeah. It's
hours.
not long. It's 110
Mm-mm.
pages total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
good. It's
Yeah.
not like there's a lot in that.
There is a
When you
lot.
say 110, I'm reading on the Kindle. So when you say 110 pages, I'm like, is it really only 110 pages?
It's 110 pages. Yeah. Yeah.
I was telling, oh, that's the other thing I wanted to tell you because I was telling Julie. So what the heck was happening? So I started reading your book and something happened that needed my attention. Um, but like it was back and forth. I had to watch something. And so I just started your book though. And you know how when you just start a book, it takes a minute for you to get that visual in your head? Even though I was distracted with whatever I had to watch, I had to make sure something wasn't happening somewhere, but it didn't need my full attention, but it needed enough of it. That like within the first few pages, I was there. I was in your book. I was visualizing despite the distraction. And sometimes that takes me chapters to get into the book, like
The
where
book.
do you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about, where it's like
Yeah.
in your, like you're
Yeah.
literally
Yep.
walking with the book in your
Yep.
head.
Yep.
So amazing whatever that is for writers to get that to happen. What is it? Descriptions, but not too much description, like just enough that you gave me the platform for my imagination to create the rest. But like I don't know, how to explain it, but I was telling Julie, I
How
was like, it
far
was
along are you?
crazy.
You're 50%, did you say?
Yeah,
So
like 50,
where
60%.
are you now? Where are you in Ireland? Where are you?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm Yes. But you know what always sticks out no matter when? My favorite is the archeo like the archeo the arch
Archaeological dig.
yeah, archaeological dig. Yeah. And how that happened, that was my probably big one where I was like, did that really happen? Did she really get to go do that? You did. We have to have another conversation. Okay,
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
fully finish, are
So
you
much
open
so.
to like
Here, I'll
sharing?
show this to you. Hold on.
Okay.
There's, I think I could, yeah. Can you see that? Can you see it?
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So that's
Wow, look at, is that, you got a hard hat on?
Yeah.
That is so cool. And that's a real picture.
It is.
That looks fake.
No, it's real.
I know, but it's so like expansive.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
yeah. So
gosh.
that piece happened. A portion of it.
Okay.
The the listeners will have to read the book because so the part, and I don't know how far along you are, but the part where there's drumming, Did you get to
Yep.
that?
I've heard you. Yep.
The drumming and the airplane.
Yep. I've been there, and then you leave and you come. Yep.
Yep. Okay. That happened.
Oh, that really happened?
That one happened.
Wow.
That was an actual dream. It was a dream.
Supposedly.
And I was woken up by the flight attendant because it was
actually drumming. Because I see it not as a dream in your book.
Yeah, I know.
I remember thinking that visually when she thought she woke up and she's like, I must have been dreaming. I was like, no, she was there. She went there. Like, okay.
There's stuff in there for sure based on certain experiences. But again, I elaborated. I mean, I switched a lot of things and stuff like that. That's fiction and all that stuff. So, but yeah.
That is so cool. Well, I'm so excited, and I encourage you to. I know you said, and I'm a firm believer of this too, that whoever's meant to read it is meant to read it. But in the same aspect, if you are feeling that like nudge to share it, to, whatever you would call market it of some sort, that might be spirit too. That might be the way it needs to get to someone. See, that's the crappy thing too, because then we get into this like spiritual mindset sometimes where we're like, oh, it's all gonna align, but everything's used as a tool. So if you're feeling the nudge to use the tool of marketing,
then use the tool. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I know. It's so. Because there's the other discovery would be like, sometimes you do have to take an action and check it off your list.
Check. Yes. Yeah. I mean, the Course says need do nothing, and the thing I love about that statement, I mean, it's always used against itself of like, what, am I supposed to sit on a park bench and do nothing? Well, no, what it means is anytime you feel like you have to do something or you should, then you're in the ego. It's coming from a place of fear. But when it just flows through you, that's when, and then often, like you told me earlier, something's brewing. It's trying to flow, but you shut it off. That's why it feels brewy. I shut it out.
Yeah, that's true. And we are. I mean, that's true. We're the most responsible for letting something out. Right? For flowing through. Oh, that's fascinating. This has been a great thing.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh my gosh, we're over. I don't know. You probably have something you're coming up to. So,
are we over? Oh, yes, we are over. Oh, yeah. That's okay. That's the way it should be. It's supposed to happen that way.
Exactly. As long as you weren't meant to like go, save Earth from a meteor, right? Hopefully. I come up with some of the craziest. Oh yeah, someone brought that up to me, and I was like, "Where is that happening? Is that happening in your neck of the woods?"
This weekend, it's supposed to have like ice storm, but southeast region is gonna get. Although it's coming across. I think it's in tomorrow night is going to be Texas, Oklahoma, and then it's going to go in the southeast region. But the Midwest and Northeast are getting dumped with snow. I know I need to text Julie and tell her, aren't you happy that you're not in Connecticut anymore?
Well, Pat, I need to check on Pat's family. They're in North Carolina on the border of South. And then my family lives in Minnesota. So Minnesota's probably getting snow, and then Pat's family maybe will get ice.
They'll probably get a little ice, snow, freezing rain, like us.
Be safe. Yeah, is all the bread and everything sold out at the grocery store?
Of course.
Is there toilet paper?
My husband said to me, he goes, okay, there's a new term apparently. It's called the French toast something panic or something, and it's literally it's the people that go to the grocery stores and buy bread, milk, eggs.
Oh yeah, because you can make French toast. Well, they're missing cinnamon. They need some cinnamon with that. Yes. That is so funny. Whenever there was like hurricanes in Florida, the chip aisle would be empty. I'm like, what do people think they're going to survive on chips?
Apparently.
The comfort food. And then toilet paper. And then I was like,
yeah.
oh, that makes sense because chips will make you need to use the bathroom. Oh, we digress.
Oh, my God,
dear.
yes, totally.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so grateful.
Thank you for inviting me. This is great. I'll co-promote on. We'll do it on the Women, Life, and Science stuff. To share and stuff like
cool.
that.
I love it.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get to meet again in person one day. It was beautiful to see you in the attire of the years. When we met last, we were both in our Madonna
outfits.
80s grungy, purpley, cool outfits.
I still love that picture of us.
I know that is so good.
The sunset one.
Yeah, that is really good. Yeah. Oh, that is a good photo. You should send me the ones you have. Maybe you have some I don't have. Yeah, send them to me.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Love you.
For anyone tuning in, we are so grateful for you. I will put in the show notes your book. Hold your book up so everyone can see it again. How to get that, and that's available on Kindle. And is that the hard copy?
It
See,
is.
with our bags, I didn't order. Oh, it looks soft too. Okay, beautiful. I'll put all that, and I'll put all the ways to connect with Cece as well. She's a pretty powerful lady who speaks a lot and connects a lot of people in women in life and science. Like, that's a big thing, you guys.
It is, yeah. But it's just like the podcast is like there's no advertising or anything. It's just sharing stories, Yep. And I have met some incredible people, authors themselves, but just incredible people, amazing individuals. But that's what it's about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, podcast is such a beautiful platform that has brought so many people together.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Take care. So much love. Bye-bye.